Hello, Aries. If you're hearing this right now, it isn't by chance. The universe has brought you here at the exact moment you were meant to receive this message. There are numbers that don't just shift your luck, they awaken your soul. And today, 6 of those numbers will be revealed like sacred codes guiding you toward the abundance you were always meant to claim. So sit back, breathe, because in this very moment, you are stepping into a journey. A journey where money, intuition, and light become one. And we begin at the very first doorway where the call of the universe is waiting. Aries, money is circling around you like a silent dance of the stars. It's no longer distant, no longer vague. It's so close you can almost feel its breath pulsing through your heartbeat. But to touch that current, to truly step into the circle of abundance the universe has drawn for you, you need a key. You need an activation code. And today I want to take you on that journey not as some scattered prediction but as a doorway leading you into a deeper chamber of your own soul. Aries, you were not born to stand outside watching life go by. You were born to step in, to leave your mark, to dare to set fire even in the dark. How many times have you stood before a door knowing one more step would change everything yet hesitated, delayed, waited? Today, the universe is reminding you it's time to stop lingering at the threshold. It's time to step forward to discover numbers that will not only shift your luck, but transform your rhythm, your spirit, and the way you connect to abundance itself. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. A small lamp glowing deep within your heart. How long has it been since you looked at it? How long have you chased the light outside, forgetting that an eternal flame has always been burning inside? These 6 numbers are not just lifeless digits. They are 6 torches. Each one lights a piece of your path, shines into corners where you once felt lost, and guides you back to the radiant truth of who you are. Call them lottery numbers. Call them lucky numbers if you wish. But to me, they are energy codes, whispers from the universe sent only to Aries to awaken the wealth already alive in your blood, in your breath, in every pulse within you. Because true abundance never begins outside. It begins with an inner nod. The quiet agreement of your soul saying, I am ready. Ask yourself, Aries, how many times have you run without knowing where you were going? How many times have you gathered and gathered yet still felt empty inside? These 6 numbers arrive not only to bring money, but to teach you how to fall in love with your journey again. To remind you that wealth is not just a full bank account. It's a full soul. Not just fleeting luck, but the lasting strength of a heart that knows how to give and how to receive. So in this moment, take a deep breath. Feel it move through your body like a stream of fresh water washing away the dust of old days. Let your tension, your worries fall away like autumn leaves from a branch. And then open yourself to something new. 6 numbers like 6 notes of music weaving together a new symphony for your life. A symphony where the call of abundance rises and blends with the call of your soul. I know there are times you felt alone on this path, as if the world turned its back, as if no one could understand the fire burning inside your chest. But it's in that loneliness that the universe writes its clearest signs. It's in that silence that these numbers appear, reminding you that you've never been abandoned. You've always been held, watched over, guided. So listen with your heart, not just your ears. Feel with your intuition, not just your mind. These numbers are not here to entertain you. They are here to activate you, to show you that you are worthy, not just of small victories, but of an entire destiny. You are no longer the one standing outside waiting. You are the one opening the door step by step with your own flame. And as you cross that doorway, the very first number appears like a lantern guiding you through the dark of night. On the journey of seeking abundance, there's a secret most people overlook. Sometimes the path to treasure isn't in front of you at all. It's hidden deep inside your own soul. The number 7 appears like a lantern in the night, reminding you that true wisdom isn't something you learn out there. It's something that has been sleeping within you all along, waiting for you to return and awaken it. Picture this. After days of running endlessly, your legs tired and heavy, you stop beside a quiet stream. Cool water runs through your hands, reflecting your face like a mirror. And in that still moment, you realize you've been searching too hard in the world outside, forgetting that the answer has always lived within you. That is what the number 7 truly is. A mirror. It calls you to listen to the silence because in silence, truth finally speaks. For a soul like fire, always restless to move forward, stopping can feel like the hardest thing of all. But it's in the pause that you notice the cracks in your walls where light begins to slip through. And through those small openings, a deeper knowing rises, shining over every step that follows. Think back. How many times in your life have you had a gut feeling, a clear intuition, but fear or logic made you ignore it? How many times have you told yourself, maybe that was just my imagination, only to later discover your intuition was right all along? The number 7 comes to teach you that reason isn't always the compass. Sometimes the quiet voice inside is the only map you need. From a spiritual lens, silence is never empty. It is full. When you release the noise of daily life, you begin to hear the truest voice of all, the voice of the self you left behind. It's wisdom without words, knowing without explanation, a truth you only need to feel. The number 7 invites you into that space. So you remember, every form of abundance out there begins with the wealth already living in here. And in that stillness, you rediscover trust in yourself. Trust in eyes that have seen so much. Trust in a heart that has endured. And trust in a soul that always knows the way right when you need it most. This isn't slowing down to lose momentum. This is slowing down to live deeper, truer, more meaningful. If you're hearing this now, give yourself a pause, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is my heart trying to tell me? Don't rush to answer. Just listen. You might be surprised at the wisdom that has always been waiting inside you. And my friend, I invite you to share in the comments. How many times have you ignored your intuition only to discover later it was right? Let your story become more than a memory. Let it be a reminder, an encouragement for someone else who needs it. Because when we dare to share, we heal not only ourselves but each other. The number 7 is an invitation into reflection. But the journey doesn't end here. Because once the light has turned inward, there comes a moment when you must face a new threshold. A moment when what no longer belongs must finally be released. And that is when another number arrives, carrying the mission of release and rebirth. On the journey of life, there are moments when we're asked to look directly at what has passed and accept that not everything can come with us. The number 18 arrives like a strong wind, like a flame that's been smoldering for too long, suddenly rising up, telling you it's time to let go. Not to lose, but to be reborn. Picture a garden. All summer long, the trees are lush and full of shade. But when autumn fades, dry leaves fall. Old branches bend heavy. If the gardener doesn't cut away the limbs that have lost their life, will the tree have the strength to bloom again in spring? Letting go is not cruelty. It is an act of love. Love for yourself, love for the future, love for the fruit that has yet to be born. The number 18 is an invitation to take the shears in your hand and bravely cut away what no longer nourishes your soul. In daily life, we carry far more than we need. Old relationships that no longer have heart. Beliefs that no longer serve. Habits that weigh our spirit down. We cling to them as if they are essential, but in truth, they are what keep you from stepping into a new chapter. The number 18 comes to remind you, you cannot take old baggage on the ship sailing toward your future. And yes, you may feel fear. Letting go feels like facing emptiness. But think of your breath. You can only inhale when you've exhaled. In the same way, fullness comes only when you allow what no longer belongs to leave. Letting go is the act of making space for something new, for true love, for the abundance already waiting at your door. From a healing perspective, the number 18 is a ritual of cleansing. It doesn't just cut away the outside, it washes the inside. It dares you to ask, what inside me has grown too old to hold? What memories am I still chained to? What version of myself am I protecting even though it no longer represents who I am? Those questions might bring tears, but they are the very beginning of freedom. I want you to pause for a moment and be honest with yourself. If today you had to let go of one thing, even something small, what would it be? A habit of procrastination, an old fear, or perhaps a relationship that no longer carries light. Write it down. Let that action be your first step on the path of cleansing, because writing it is your way of telling the universe, I am ready for a new chapter. The number 18 carries a force that can feel uncomfortable, like a storm rushing through your home, tearing apart what was once familiar. But when the storm passes, the sky is clearer and you realize how much lighter you've become. Trust that this process will never take from you what is truly needed. It only clears the space so you can finally receive what is worthy of you. Letting go in the end is not loss. It is choice. You choose to no longer be a prisoner of the past. You choose to open the door and let the light flood in. And from that light, a new movement begins. Another number is waiting ahead. Not here to sweep clean, but to ignite, to set fire, to change it, to awaken life, to call forth the burning desire to move forward once more. There are moments in life when you feel like you're standing at crossroads. One path feels familiar, safe, comfortable, but far too small now. And then another path calls you forward. A road with no map, no guarantees, but your heart trembles with excitement. That is when the number 5 appears. It arrives like a bell ringing in the middle of the night, waking you from the sleep of repetition. The number 5 is the symbol of eruption, of change, of movement that cannot be stopped. It reminds you that life was never designed for you to stay forever in the comfort zone. Yes, it may feel warm there, but it's also where your inner fire quietly fades. Life truly begins when you dare to try, dare to step into the unknown, dare to move forward, even with trembling feet. Think back to a time when you took a leap that everyone else thought was crazy. Maybe it was a job decision, a love, a journey. In that moment, you had no guarantees, nothing but your heart. But that moment shaped you. It made you a stronger, truer version of yourself. That is the spirit of the number 5. It doesn't promise you won't fall, but it promises that every fall will grow you. Still, a flame that burns wildly without a hearth. It will soon burn out. And that's why the number 12 steps in. If 5 is the wild wind, then 12 is the steady hands that build the harbor so your boat isn't swept away. The number 12 is the wisdom of structure. The strategy, the ability to give your fire a direction. It whispers, keep burning, but burn with purpose. Burn to illuminate, not to destroy. You've seen it before. Someone filled with passion but no plan, burning out too soon. While another who blends passion with vision, builds something lasting. That's the perfect partnership between 5 and 12. One gives you wings to fly. The other gives you the map to know where you're flying. From where I stand, this is one of life's greatest lessons. Life is not blind action, and it's not endless planning with no courage to act. It's the union of both. You need the flame of risk, and you need the lamp of wisdom. When the two meet, you stop being just a risk-taker and become a creator. So ask yourself, when was the last time you let yourself dive into something new? And what wisdom helped you keep that journey from falling into chaos? I invite you to share in the comments because your story could be the encouragement someone else is waiting for. The dance of 5 and 12 is like a rhythm. One step leaping forward, one step drawing back to see the bigger picture. One heartbeat pushing, one breath reminding. And in that rhythm, you discover your true strength. The road to abundance doesn't just need steps. It needs direction. And once you've found that rhythm, once you're moving in alignment, you'll notice that life itself begins to send you gifts. Gifts that never come by plan, a door opening at just the right time, a hand reaching out in the dark. And that is when another number arrives, carrying with it the miracle of unexpected luck. There are moments in life that can't be planned, can't be predicted. They come like a sudden wind rushing through, scattering the leaves you thought would always stay still on the ground. The number 34 is the very embodiment of that win. The unexpected luck, the divine coincidences, the opportunities you never asked for. Yet, they arrive right on time, as if the universe had arranged them long ago. Do you remember a time when you were close to giving up and suddenly a door opened? Maybe it was an unexpected offer, a chance encounter, or just a simple message that shifted the course of your life. Moments like that don't come when you're clenching tight. They come when you dare to loosen your grip. When you trust a current larger than yourself. That is the deep lesson of the number 34. Sometimes the bravest action is not endless effort, but opening your hand that's held on too tightly to receive what is new. This number reminds you you are worthy of gifts from the universe. Not because you've worked hard enough, not because you've proven your value, but simply because you exist. Because you are here breathing, living as a unique soul in this vast cosmos. For years, maybe you've believed everything must be earned through sweat and struggle. But the number 34 comes to release you from that burden. It whispers, allow yourself to receive without guilt. Picture yourself walking down a tree-lined path. Sunlight slips through the branches, leaving scattered patches of light across the ground. You can't control where those rays will fall, but you can open your eyes to see them. Open your heart to feel them. In the same way, luck is not something you chase. It's something you let into your life when you stop controlling, stop calculating, stop worrying. At its core, this teaches us something deeply human. We are not only defined by what we create, but by our ability to receive. In a world that praises only effort, it's easy to forget that gratitude and trust are also forms of strength. And sometimes it is that very strength that unlocks the greatest blessings. So pause for a moment. Think back to a time when luck found you. Maybe you didn't call it luck. Maybe you called it coincidence. But deep down you knew it changed everything. I invite you to share that story in the comments. Because when you tell it, you don't just honor your own moment of grace. You give hope to someone else who needs to know that miracles are real. The number 34 is the bridge between you and the unexpected, between you and the wondrous. But once you learn how to receive without guilt, once you understand that you are worthy simply because you exist, the universe doesn't just hand you fleeting gifts. It prepares to place in your hands something lasting, a foundation, solid ground where you can plant seeds and harvest for years to come. And that is when another number steps forward. Not to surprise you this time, but to promise stability, safety, and a life of prosperity you can finally trust with all your heart. Sometimes success comes quickly, like a summer rain. It cools the soul, but it fades just as fast. The number 41 is not that passing rain. It is the underground river that flows forever, nourishing the soil, giving rise to life that endures. This is the number of stability, of strong foundations, of prosperity that doesn't blind you for a moment, but allows you to stand tall, breathe deeply, and know you are truly safe. When I think of the number 41, I see a house built on solid rock. Storms may rage, winds may howl, rains may fall hard, but that house still stands, offering shelter and peace. Wealth is the same. If it only comes from fleeting opportunities, you will always fear tomorrow. But when you have a foundation, you can rest, knowing the seeds you plant today will bloom for generations to come. There are people who spend their whole lives chasing more, piling up possessions, only to realize they've lost balance. They have money but no peace. They have riches but no freedom. The number 41 arrives to remind you true wealth is not just in the numbers of your account. It's in the ability to sleep without worry. It's in being able to care for your family without running yourself dry. It's in the calm of knowing you've planted a garden that will blossom in every season. I believe lasting prosperity can only exist when you know both how to work and how to rest. When you build with focus, but also stop to savor. If you only burn, your fire will fade. But if you tend, protect, and nurture it, that fire becomes a steady light warming you and everyone around you. So imagine this. You wake one morning and realize all your basic needs are covered. You no longer have to rush, no longer have to live in fear. What's the very first thing you do to feed your soul? Would you write a book, learn to play an instrument, or simply hold your loved ones closer? I invite you to write your answer in the comments because the moment you speak it out, you've already begun planting a new seed in your life. The number 41 also carries responsibility. A strong foundation isn't just for you to stand on, it's to lift others, too. When you're stable, you can share. And in giving, you receive a wealth even greater than material things, gratitude, love, and the unshakable truth that life has meaning. Think of the number 41 as an ancient tree. It doesn't grow in one night. It needs years, patience, and care. But once its roots are deep, it becomes a refuge, a shade, a place for future generations to look up to and know that something strong and lasting exists. And when you've built that foundation for yourself, when you're no longer swept away by the tides of uncertainty, you'll see that these 6 numbers were never separate. They've been connecting all along like pieces of a puzzle, forming a map for your soul's journey. A map that leads you from the silence within to release, from action to direction, from receiving unexpected blessings to building something enduring. And when all 6 pieces fall into place, a new picture emerges, a doorway opening into something deeper, where the whole of your ARIES soul is lit by the light of completion. There are times when life feels like a hidden map. And only when we look back do we realize that every small mark, every dot has been connected all along. The 6 numbers you've just walked through are the same. They are not separate, not random. They are stepping stones forming a path of evolution designed just for you, a map of the soul. The number 7 calls you inward to listen to the voice you've long ignored. The number 18 forces you to release what's old, like a gardener cutting away dead branches so the tree can bloom again. Then comes the number 5, bringing wind to your flame, reminding you to reignite courage and step outside the comfort zone. But soon after, the number 12 appears gentle, steady, teaching you to guide that fire so it doesn't burn you, but lights your way. Next, the number 34 arrives with surprises, with gifts you could never plan. It teaches you to let go in order to receive, to trust in divine timing. And finally, the number 41 is placed into your hands, a foundation strong enough that prosperity no longer blows by like the wind, but becomes a solid home where you can live, love, and give. When these 6 numbers connect, they tell a greater story. True wealth is not just the piling of possessions. It is a full-circle reflection, release, bold action, clear vision, grateful receiving, and lasting stability. It is the harmony your soul has always been searching for. Aries, you were not born to win once and fade away. You were born to build a legacy. A legacy not measured only by what you hold, but by the values you leave behind. By the way, you live true to the fire in your chest and the faith you pass to those around you. So ask yourself, of these 6 numbers, which one is knocking on your door the loudest? Which one has been showing up again and again in the time on a clock, on a license plate, in the small coincidences of daily life? I invite you to write it down in the comments. Because when you name it, you are not just recognizing the sign, you are lighting up your own path, turning this soul map into lived experience. And when all 6 pieces fall into place, when the map becomes clear, you'll see the journey is not finished. Because at the end of this road, what waits is not just another message. It is a reminder that stirs your heart, that lets you feel seen, grateful, and blessed. And in that moment, a voice of gratitude will rise soft yet profound, closing this journey like a hymn written for your soul alone. And when all 6 pieces have come together, when the map of your soul has been revealed, we see that this journey was never about chasing some distant secret. It was about remembering yourself. Remembering that in your heart there has always been enough light to guide you, enough strength to rise, and enough faith to build a life of lasting abundance. I want to pause here to send you my deepest gratitude. Thank you, Aries, for walking with me all the way to the very end of this journey. The fact that you're still here listening to this final moment is no accident. It proves you are truly ready to open the door and let prosperity in. Your patience, your presence, and your faith are the clearest signals to the universe that say, I am ready. May it be that from this moment forward, you not only find material wealth, but also the peace that lets your heart rest, the freedom that allows your soul to soar, and the light that keeps your path shining ahead. Prosperity is complete only when it walks hand in hand with peace. And light only finds its meaning when it warms you and radiates to those around you. Before we close, I want to invite you to do one small but powerful thing. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am Aries and I am ready to receive my abundance. Write it as if every word is a promise to yourself. Write it as if you are signing a sacred agreement with the universe. And trust that the moment you speak these words, an invisible door has already opened. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to walk beside you. And from the depths of my heart, I wish you a new journey filled with light, with fullness, and with depth. A journey where you are nourished and in turn you become nourishment for this.